Let's see. What time? There it is. I'm resident of Collinwood for YouTube. That's my buddy Patrick McCray. That's my buddy Alan Gallant. We're here to review the movie Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story, which involves machetes, which is cool. It was
Machete.
Yeah, machetes.
Machete.
Yeah. Directed by Jake Castain, written by Jude Upto and
Kasdan.
Kasdan.
Just the son of Lawrence Kasdan, who wrote Raiders of the Lost Ark,
right,
and Empire Strikes Back. Yes.
Yeah.
Nice. This movie the music was provided by one Michael Andrews. So that's really, really nice. Production companies: Columbia Pictures, Relativity. Yeah, Relativity, and Apatow Productions. Apatow, sorry.
That's Judd Apatow's company.
Distributed by Sony Pictures. The release date for this was December 21st, 2007. Budget was $35 million. Box office was $20.6 million.
It was not. It was kind of a bomb when it first came out.
Yeah, but I heard this got a lot of rentals.
It did. It actually, it made its nut, and it's now considered a a cult film. Its popularity increased with age. So
that happens with a lot of movies too. There was a movie called FX that happened to too. If anybody knows what it is,
Brian Brown.
Yeah.
Really good
and it made so much money in like rentals, they made a sequel. So
yes.
Yes. Okay. When did you guys first see the movie Walk Hard, Patrick?
It was December 21st, 2007.
Cool.
I've been waiting for it with great anticipation since I saw the first trailer. And I was a big fan of the Apatow movies. Really the last man to make comedies in America, reliably. Our last comedic filmmaker. And I when I watch this movie now, I have tremendous nostalgia for that era where every year there was a big Judd Apatow movie, and it was always pretty damn funny. And then something died. Literally, something died in the American zeitgeist, the American culture, and we don't make comedies anymore.
No, we make MCU films or that type of.
Yeah, I directed a comedy earlier this year, or no, it was last year, and the cast had no sense of humor whatsoever, and I accused them of this, and they copped to it.
We don't know what it's like. We've not been taught how to be funny.
They just stared at me and was like, yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah,
really, no sense of humor at all.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. When did you first see this out?
2007. I saw it in a movie theater as well. I don't think it was either late 2007 or early 2008. It was fairly close to when it was released.
I first saw this today, actually, which was a really interesting picture. The comedy was there. I mean, they nailed everything you could nail from a just a funny standpoint. The downside of being a rock star, how they the zealous teacher.
They basically roast the hell out of Johnny Cash in the first part of this movie. They roast him bad.
That and Conway Twitty hard.
Yeah. All those guys that came up through the 50s, but especially Johnny Cash, because they have the whole Johnny and June thing going on there at one point and everything else. So. Their chemistry in this movie is very underrated. Everybody delivers. I mean, from the dad, the mom, the Dewey Cox himself, the bandmates. Yeah. Tim Meadows is hilarious in those scenes where Dewey walks into the closets or whatever.
You don't want no part of this.
Yeah.
Part of this.
Yeah. What did you?
Takes your bad feelings and makes them into good feelings.
That's right.
Was it me or did they really have a really great veteran cast?
It's an amazing cast.
Yeah.
Chris Parnell.
Yeah.
Jenna Fisher, just Kristen Wiig. I mean, up and down. Margot Martindale,
Yeah.
who's fantastic in the movie.
Mhm.
She is so onto the culture that she is satirizing.
Oh yeah.
She represents it perfectly, and because she, I think, has such contempt for it, but it's an affectionate kind of contempt at the same time. I love her line reading of, "Go to the general store and buy us some butter, and tonight get us a candle." There's just something so sanctimonious about it.
It's also that skeevy Elvis Presley's mother thing going on.
Yes, Gladys.
It's definitely she has a handle on all of that stuff. Absolutely.
I'm such a fan of hers, and I don't see her in enough. And that was a really good period for her career. I don't really know what she's done lately.
She had a really good role in Justified.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
really good role. Backwoods mafiosi type.
Oh
character. Yeah.
Okay,
really.
good.
Yeah.
Because there's such a prejudice against women of size in Hollywood.
Yes.
And it's so criminal.
Mm-hmm.
It's so criminal, and I would rather watch her in a heartbeat than really half a dozen of the most talented actresses out there.
Yeah.
Well, more than that, more than a half dozen.
Yes.
2 dozen of them.
Yeah, because she's good at what she does, and she has to be on the merits of it, not on her appearance.
Yes, and I'm interested in what she does, and her appearance is fine.
Yeah.
Her appearance is fine.
Exactly. She doesn't have to look like a runway model.
No, maybe runway model. She looks more like her.
Right. Exactly. She looks more like anybody. What they call character. Yeah.
Is this one of John C. Reilly's best roles, you think?
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's freaking awesome.
He gets to do everything. And it's so funny because there are moments that both he and Kristen Wiig have where they are making very, very, very careful, intricate, honest acting choices that they then have to blend
into the observer.
Maybe one piece of punctuation later.
Yeah.
With some, I do care about your dreams. I just know you're going to fail. That moment.
That moment between that period and the next statement, right, is real.
It's so wonderful. I really thought about the acting in that moment tonight, and I just delighted in it.
Yeah, it's like this, and then it goes. But it's brilliant because they make that happen. I mean,
I like how the priest is like, it's devil music. It's devil music.
Oh yeah, devil has
hands, and he makes them for Holden.
Yeah, it's like what? Oh my God!
That's awesome. And, was that Rance?
I think that was Rance Howard.
It was Rance. I thought it was. Yeah.
Oh my God. So they also what is it? Not the Big Bopper, the other guy I'm thinking of, Holly.
Buddy Holly. Yeah.
Buddy Holly, yeah.
And Elvis in the middle playing Buddy Holly.
Yeah. Which I thought was funny. I thought that was a nice little nod there to him and Elvis Presley.
Wait a minute, I have to follow the Big Bopper, Buddy Holly, and Elvis Presley. Okay, no pressure.
And that whole conversation is them going yada yada yada, Dewey Cox, and he's going yada 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 yada, Elvis Presley. He's like it's a naming ritual.
At the time I did this, I was just getting ready. I cut my teeth helping to write these biography comics of rock stars.
Right.
And I was about to write more of them. And that habit really was something that we were into. I mean, that was the thing that we had to do when we were writing these things.
Right. And they were doing it for the same reason. It was almost like a wink and a nod to the audience. Hey, you need to keep track here.
Well, by the time I was doing, the last one of those I did was a Jack Dorsey comic. And I was very, very, very purposeful to do that and to make it clear that's what I was doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Get down.
What's you guys' favorite scene in this movie? What's your favorite scene in this movie?
There's like a half a dozen of them. The Tim Meadows thing that I mentioned before is hilarious. It's great. When he the sequences where he has tantrums and it always ends up with him breaking a frigging sink.
That's right out of good Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
Yeah, gosh, any great satire also has to be a working example of what it's satirizing. So I have to care about these characters.
Yes.
And I care about Dewey Cox.
Yes.
I think when his smell blindness is cured, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love the Brian Wilson sequence because they got Van Dyke Parks, who wrote the lyrics to Smile.
That's right. That's right.
To write the lyrics to Black Sheep, which is the song that they're doing. And the disgust of the band. You know, there's goats singing more on this than I do.
But it's like love is is ugly.
God, Mike Love, don't get me started. I hate that.
I know.
But anyway, we've talked about that at length.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm an American. I can say it.
You can.
Poor Brian Wilson. Damn it, Mike Love. That just got me. Okay, I got to pull myself back.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to throw you.
That's okay. That's okay. The fact that last song works as well as it does.
It gets you.
That I can't even. And this is a tribute to what a good satire it is. I laugh at where it cuts away to scenes from his life there, but I laugh out of affection and fondness for him rather than satire, because I'm also crying in the sequence.
Right.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. The one thing I did notice about that scene too, which you wouldn't notice back in 2007, but you notice now, is that he looks like an older Tim Robbins.
Yeah.
Yo, he very much looks like an older Tim Robbins.
I'm surprised with it. I wonder if they thought about cameoing Tim Robbins in this a bit, because sometimes
well, the ideal cameo would have been as the real Dewey Cox.
Right.
Yeah.
At the end of the movie, where you see him actually singing Walk Hard.
On the porch or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there was a point at which Tim Robbins was doing a lot of cameos. I mean, he was in Anchorman.
Yeah.
Oh, he's great. It's the PBS.
Totally
it's the perfect
great.
choice.
And
the turtleneck.
Yeah.
That's a movie. I can talk about that movie forever.
It's hilarious.
I think Anchorman is such a complex movie. They shot so much for it that they didn't use, that they made an entire other movie out of what they didn't use in that film, called Wake Up Ron Burgundy.
Yes. It's like it's incredible. And the outtakes at the end of it, you see all of that kind of work that they were doing, all of this improv work that they were doing. Where he goes, great grandmother's spatula.
And it's the same team.
Yes.
That was the first great Judd Apatow movie, and this is just, the evolution of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the director does the cinematographer do a really good job of pacing this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I really love the transition from when they go on the LSD trip to like a cartoon in a sense, and coming back from that too. Yeah. It was really smart. It was clever. It's funny at the same time because you have the Beatles in there.
Yeah. But to make sure are the Beatles over
That's
and
right.
over again.
I'm Paul McCartney.
Believe it or not.
Oh my god.
A sense of rift forming with the Beatles.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, as they're fighting with each other.
And to cast Jack Black as Paul McCartney was also a stroke of genius.
Yeah.
Nothing like Paul McCartney. So it's just...
Yeah, because the one thing, because I'm watching this on YouTube, like I wasn't like reading like any credits or anything. So I was like, when I saw Jack Black, I'm like, holy shit! I was surprised.
Yeah. They had these little pop-ups, definitely, and
Yeah.
good one.
I'll tell you a good pop-up. Maybe he's sort of pop-up, but he's a character too. Is the Jackal remake with Bruce Willis?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Jackal movie in the 90s with Bruce Willis and Richard Gere.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
I guess. Black, I don't know. I never saw it.
Like Jack Black pops up in there. He's like the arms dealer or whatever.
Yeah.
And he gets his arm. Yeah, he gets his arm shot off.
Yeah.
He does another movie that's like semi-serious too. I forget what it. Oh, he does what he did. Cable Guy with Jim Carrey. That was pretty.
Well, that's a dark comedy, is what that. But it has definitely serious moments in it. No doubt.
Yeah, definitely for sure. My favorite scene is the chainsaw fight between him and his dad in the bar. Or sorry, machete fight. Sorry.
Machete.
Yeah, really, really well choreographed. Really fun. And like. That was really clever. Whoever thought of that idea was smart.
And turning it into a warm moment between father and son after he chops him in half.
The wrong kid died.
That's right, the wrong kid died. Maybe I was wrong. Now that I see how easy it is to cut yourself in half.
Yeah, Tim Exciting commented on that on Facebook. Yeah. And it was after I watched it. I'm like, yeah. I do love the cinematography of this movie and how they shot it. Really smart. John C. Reilly is a very, very talented actor. Did you guys see him in the Skull Island movie?
Yes, I thought he was cool as the Grizzled Gold.
Oh yeah, he was great in that.
Yeah, Grizzled Gold soldier. I mean, he's the guy that really kind of gets them through by telling them the key information they need to know to survive. And you know, those who ignore it do so at their own peril.
Yeah, it's like what? Like, do you listen to the Grizzled Gold veteran? Because if you don't, you're going to be in trouble.
Yep. But he's also sort of spacey and like, hey guys, you know, and he's like, yeah, no, you don't want to go over there.
No.
Like, oh, you definitely don't want to go over there.
Yeah, how they played that in that movie was really smart too. Yeah. It was a fun watch. And this was too. I think we get like a bit of a porn shot in this movie. It's just like why, but it's funny. It's meant in humor. So, do you guys ever? Because the Wayans brothers said they're going to reboot the Scary Movie franchise. Do you guys think we're going to get comedy like this again?
Lord, I'm not sure. It's a tall order to revive something that's been pretty much, no pun intended, done to death.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think comedy to a certain extent, well, to a great extent, has to be responsive to the culture of the day. It has to be responsive to what's going on, or what had just gone on.
Yeah.
You know, it used to take longer for information to seep in and out of the zeitgeist. And the Marx Brothers movies were all about World War One.
Yeah.
And the insanity of Europe in World War One. But it took so long for that to kind of seep into America, and for America to start talking about it, it was still relevant.
It literally had to get into textbooks and reflective, you know, history and that sort of thing.
Now, you know, with microblogging and so on, culture moves so fast. By the time you make a movie that's responsive to the world, you know, it's over. And I think if you have half the world in denial of the horror it's in, you can't have the ability to tell the truth. And comedy is about telling the truth in uncomfortable circumstances. You know, by the time Blazing Saddles was made, the world had pretty much come to the conclusion that racism was a bad idea.
Yes.
You know, but if you look at the more harmful elements in society today, it's going to take a long time before we can talk about that because you can't get zeitgeistian saturation of that it's okay to talk about it, that we can
Right.
talk about it.
There's not so much rumination and reflection on what's happening either. It just happens, like it blows by, and it's difficult, I think, for the average person to just stop and think about what that was, whatever that thing was, unless it's a longer arc or trend of some kind. And so
I will say this: the Wayans brothers rebooting the Scary Movie franchise. Somebody already perfectly parodied Halloween 2018, and they did it while 2018 was in theaters. I'll send you the video.
cool.
And it's hilarious. They did Halloween 60, where Michael Myers was hot pills and just had a walker.
Yeah.
One of the things that's the problem with the Wayans model is that I guess the scary movies are okay, but the Wayans model very quickly gave way to this satire of satire, where all you had to do was have the audience recognize that you are invoking a character, that you're invoking something, and that does not automatically make it funny.
No.
And the problem is oh, look, it's someone with Jared Butler's chest. As though it's funny, in whatever epic movie or whatever that was.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. I would say of that generation of satires, the best one that I saw was Not Another Teen Movie.
Yeah.
Which I thought was actually refreshingly funny. I was very surprised by how good it was.
It really cracks tropes that were highly recognizable tropes.
Yeah. I think that, to me, the first Scary Movie was hilarious because they parodied Scream really well, and and by the end they parodied The Usual Suspects. But it's the thing about parodying horror now is it's already being parodied on YouTube. So how are you going to do it? My worry is with them and again, they're smart. They should recognize this as you don't want to copy something that's already being parodied.
Yeah, if it's been instantaneously responded to, it makes it challenging. It does.
Yeah.
Because with a movie, you want to take your time and produce something with, some quality production values and so on. And it's difficult to do that with something that's happening that fast.
The gags have to work on their own.
Yeah.
The gags have to work even if you haven't seen the thing they're referring to.
Right.
Yeah.
With the airplane movies, nobody's seen an airport movie now. Those are beyond obscure.
Gags are still hilarious. They're still funny because they're classic for the most part. You've got these sex gags and I mean it's bodily function stuff, mishearing things and responding to it, and don't call me sure, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, literalism. Literally, it's a movie. Airplane's a movie about language.
Yes.
More than anything else, it really is, and about the literal misinterpretations of language.
I think that's how they got so many guest stars, because I think the language is really attractive, even on the page.
Oh yeah.
Getting these straight actors to do this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, that's clever. Okay, I can do that and not feel like I'm making a fool of myself, but I'm making a fool of myself in service to something nice, something good. I can do that, rather than a piece of crap, which nobody wants to make themselves a fool of in a piece of crap. Well, almost no. Few people do, but.
Oh my God! I remember watching Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield and laughing my ass off. But
that's great movie.
Again,
funny movie.
It really, he created this character in Caddyshack, and it was basically him, doing his thing, and it's the power of his personality, and his responses and his reactions to things, and you can almost see it coming, because the character so well, but there's a comforting familiarity, and it's still hilarious.
It's interesting because in both Caddyshack and Back to School, he inverts his own model, which don't get no respect, as a character who is so wealthy that he doesn't care whether or not he has your respect.
Right. He disrespects conventions all over
Yeah.
the place. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, he comes in and he insults the mucky mucks at the golf course. You know, he goes to school and he insults the professors and he does this ridiculous stuff, and everybody, all the kids love him for his, you know, the triple Lindy or whatever it is.
The main professor he goes after was Canada's greatest Shavian actor, Paxton Whitehead.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was Paxton Whitehead. It was the guy in all the Shaw Festival stuff.
Yeah.
See, they missed a huge opportunity doing a proper Halloween parody, and you know who they should have did it with just to like parody Sam Loomis, but not be British. It was the late Don Rickles. Would have been hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. And then gotten actually William Shatner to play the Shape.
Yeah, the Shape.
He whips the mask off, and he looks exactly the same. The mask is white, clown white on his face, and his hair's kind of matted. And
yeah, they did. They missed about like when Don Rickles sadly passed away. It's like, man, they missed an opportunity.
Well, there's a lot of opportunities with Rickles. Rickles was a hell of an actor.
He was trained in the method. He came to New York to be trained as a serious actor.
I mean, look at X, Man with X-Ray Eyes. He's marvelous in that.
Mm-hmm.
He's terrific in Casino.
Yeah, he is, and he's very subtle in Casino too. I mean,
yes,
he's playing a concierge type character, and he's just doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
You know, he's not trying.
He's so good. He has such good chemistry with John Bloom,
Kelly's
aka Joe Bob Briggs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Kelly's Heroes. He was good in too.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. Yeah, there's that whole line of movies he did in that time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Really underrated actor.
Yep.
I mean, he's a hell of a comedian, but
he was. I mean, he'd have to be in order to get away with some of the shit that he did in front of Wise Guys. When he was starting out, he was working in Wise Guy clubs, and he got people like Frank Sinatra on his side, and they said, "Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. He's just having fun with you." And apparently, off stage, he was like he'd cut his arm off if you needed it. You know, he was that kind of guy. It was really.
There's a good movie John Landis made about Rickles. Mr. Warmth. His documentary about him, and it's a really good documentary.
Yeah.
Somebody get Marty a phone book so he can see me instead of it was so classic. Marty, you made all those movies and none of them were good. Jesus.
There's also a series of Dinner with Don on YouTube now, but I think it was on like Comedy Central or one of those other channels originally, but it's on YouTube now. And it's Rickles at 90 talking to people over dinner, of all these people that are fans of his, famous people that come and talk to him, and he just like skewers them, and then he gives them wisdom, and then he skewers them again, and you know, he's just sitting there over the pasta or whatever. The old man, the lion in winter kind of thing. Kind of cool.
I give the movie we just did, I give it a solid 8.5. Really funny. They nail everything.
I give it a 10.
Yeah, 10's good.
I love this movie.
They do a good job. I mean, it should have made more money, but I get, again, some people might have not have got it when they first saw it. So.
Yeah, they said that the PR, the chain of logic in the PR was such that some people didn't realize it was a satire. You know, so that may have had something to do with that. But I think when people caught on, it just took time.
Well, I think sometimes too, timing when you release the movie too. In 2007 December, I was still so fresh from, and even though it didn't come out, it came out in like I think August or in the fall. I was still like so fresh from seeing Rob Zombie's remake of Halloween. It's like, do I need to see a comedy right now?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, seeing it today, it was funny. So, I'd see Rob. Good actor for
Absolutely.
sure. Yeah. Is there a role you guys would like to see John C. Reilly play, or see something you'd like to see him in?
Oh, I would have enjoyed seeing him play The Thing. in Fantastic Four.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think he would have been great in that.
Mhm.
Not my ultimate choice. My ultimate choice would be Eugene Levy, and he could still provide the voice
Yeah.
of that. I think Eugene Levy would be the most ideal Ben Grimm possible.
Yeah. You, Alan?
Well, I've seen him play. I mean, he's been a. It's difficult because I've seen him play such a wide variety of roles. I mean, if you see him in Gangs of New York and then you see him in Walk Hard, it's a completely different person, completely different.
And then to Chicago.
Yeah, and in Chicago playing Amos, and also he's one of the boatswains in the Storm of the what is it it's not the Storm of the Century. It's the one about the sword boat that where the three storms come together and they get
Perfect Storm.
Perfect Storm. Right.
Yeah.
He's in that. That's a great cast of a movie too. That's a fantastic cast.
You know, they're going to be remaking Forbidden Planet. I'm serious about this.
I heard
he should be the star of that movie because he could pull it off.
Yeah,
but the Id monster?
No,
probably the robot.
No. The role Leslie Nielsen played.
Right.
He could pull
the
it off.
captain. I'd be happy to see that.
Yeah, he could pull it off too. I mean, he's got the right tone to do it. Because he has that look of somebody who should be a captain too. You don't want somebody so pretty that it's like, really, what are you doing here?
No, and he has the kind of a face now. He's way past Chest Rockwell at this point in his career. He has the kind of face that screams experience if he wants.
Well, hell, make him Bill Malloy.
Yeah. Why not? Is there anything you guys want to add about Walk Hard before we get on out of here?
No, it's great. It's I love it. And when you talked about the cinematography, I kept thinking about how intimate the cinematography is in this for a comedy. There's a lot of close scenes in this movie, and that a lot of comic directors shy away from stuff like that. They have broader open scenes and so on with a few quick shots, but this
gets very close to the actors.
Yeah, it does not shy away from that. The actors are up to the task, as we talked about before, being able to be intimately associated 1 second and then off to satire land the next.
Guys, I have a movie suggestion for you tomorrow if you're interested.
Insert it.
It is The Grapes of Wrath, starring Henry Fonda.
I feel like I'm having to do homework now after getting recess.
Yes, let's Google Tom Jones.
Oh, whenever there's a film critic suffering, I'll be there.
Uh-huh.
All right, Grapes of Wrath. Will I have to eat vegetables while I watch it?
No, you can eat whatever you'd like. I promise.
Here's some food for thought. The powers that be, when The Grapes of Wrath came out in 1940, I guess it was, they thought it was a commie movie. Or they a lot, the powers that be, the corporate powers that be, the all of this sort of thing. They thought it was a commie movie because it was, criticizing the mismanagement of the average citizen.
Before I agree to this, why do you want me to watch The Grapes of Wrath?
Well, it's one of my top Henry Fonda movies.
That's not good enough.
Why do you want him to watch it?
Well, when I first learned about this actual real life incident, because it is based upon the Dust Bowl of Oklahoma.
Real life incident in a general way. Yes.
It's a very agricultural movie in a lot of ways when you look at the setting. Look, if you want to do something else, that's fine.
No, that's fine. I just want to know what you want me to look for in The Grapes of Wrath to see it through the Sainzian eyes.
Look at how, from a shot standpoint, a cinematographer standpoint, how the camera, yes, it captures Henry Fonda's character, but it also captures to me, in my opinion, the agricultural problem that they were having, the best they can anyway.
The character of the times.
That's
Yeah,
fine. That's fine.
I think they do a really good job picturing the characters of that time of the Dust Bowl era and what they had went through. Yeah. I think that's something the movie doesn't get talked about enough.
Okay, that's fine. That's perfectly good. I just wanted to know what I was to look for and what you found alluring about it.
That's what I've always found alluring. I watched this when I was 8 years old with my grandfather. It was really fun.
So you got the nostalgia factor as well.
Sure.
Yes, I do.
All right. That says it all, Jewel. I'm on board.
And the next time, I swear, we'll do a comedy. So I'll see. Link to Patrick McCray's Dark Shadows Daybook about will be in the description box. Link to Alan Gallant's YouTube channel will be in the description box. Collins Sport After Dark. Wait, Alan, have you watched Freddy's Dead yet?
I have not watched Freddy's Dead. I have been extremely busy, and I can only focus on what we're doing at this point.
Remember Remember the scariest part is Roseanne Barr.
I believe that. I don't have to see that.
Wisely.
Bye.
Bye.